We acknowledge the First Nations peoples of this land, the traditional custodians, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and future. We recognise the ongoing impacts of colonisation and the importance of a voice to Parliament to ensure the sovereignty and self-determination of First Nation peoples is respected and upheld. We commit to working together towards a just and equitable future for all Australians.
Hi, I'm Keighley, and it's the 21st of February.
And I am insert name here. Oh, Wence.
And you were listening to
The New Blurt.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the
New
Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the New Blurt. I can hardly see you there because I'm sort of completely... If you're watching us live here, I'm having a real problem with this bucket hat that says Jervis Bay Beer Company. But are they sponsoring us? Well, not yet, but they may be, so who knows?
We're working hard on it, aren't we?
We are working hard on it. Very, very true. So,
any beer companies out there, we're happy to support you and further your cause.
Absolutely.
Happy to experiment.
Absolutely, and I've got lots more to say on that. On our first and most wonderful segment, Beerducation. So So how are you, buddy? I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks, as you know. Been road tripping.
Road tripping. Yeah. So before we continue, I'm just going to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I live and work, the Yuggera and Turrbal peoples. Sovereignty was never ceded. Yes. So you've been road tripping.
Yes, and before we go any further as well, tonight I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country, Kulin Nation of the Wurrung people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been, always will be Aboriginal land. And I have been road tripping on some of their very sacred land, and it's a beautiful piece of the country. I do have some show and tell that
as we can see on your head.
Yes, definitely. If you're following this live, obviously you'll be able to see the slides when they pop up. But if you are listening on the pod, the links will be in there. I'll work out a way that you can have a look if you would so like to.
You can describe the photos as for those listeners.
Yes, I can, as they pop up as such.
Yep.
I think they're around. I'm just trying to find them at the moment. That's definitely not them.
You had it down the bottom, remember?
Yes, I do, and that is because I'm adding the wrong one to the stream. But that's all. That's all good. There you go.
Let me remove this and this. So now
beautiful work.
Clearly.
Beautiful work. So yes, talking about Jervis Bay, just so happened to have their whole range up there that you can take home. And I took home. What did I take home? I took home some of the Cow and Calf Tropical Pale. And some of the Point Pilsner, and I'm not sure what else I took home, but it wasn't a ginormous amount, but it was a little bit, and it was good.
So are those 7 or so cans that you've got on display there?
Yes.
Do you try them all while you're there, or just some of them? They're just photos you took.
Yeah, no. They are, well, I think they do a 4 and a 10 paddle, but to be honest, we'll keep that for Beerducation. We're talking about that for Beerducation. But anyway, we talked about my road trip. So that's some of the photos just on our way.
Nice.
So many of the places that we went, we were just so lucky that they look like this. So I can't quite remember.
Beautiful, clear, aqua-coloured.
That's
the ocean, isn't it? The Pacific?
That's absolutely the ocean. It's just it was amazing. It's probably one of the best holidays I've done for a long time. Now this one is the Bermagui Blue Pool.
Oh, that's a famous one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, and I found out apparently it's one of the best, not just in Australia or Sydney or whatever. It's one of the best in the world, apparently. Yeah.
That's. For those who aren't watching on the YouTubes, this is a pool that is basically recessed into the rocks on the beachfront.
Yeah, 100% correct. And
And my understanding is New South Wales is the only place that has them here in Australia. I've never seen them in Victoria or here in Queensland.
yeah, no, we definitely don't have them in Victoria,
Mm,
and I don't know why. I know they obviously do have them internationally in certain places, but
mm,
I think you are correct. I think New South Wales may be the only.
yeah.
Uh, but I'm not sure. But one thing I did notice with Victoria, I mean, they do call Victoria the nanny state, um, and I understand sort of that when I go traveling. I sort of understand why they call us that.
Mm,
Because some of the health and safety regs in New South Wales that I didn't see were adhered to, I was like, oh, okay. So you're just going to walk along that plank as you've got a ladder there with a
yeah.
fag in your face while I'm eating. Okay, wonderful,
Okay then.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I don't know, I don't know what their rules are
Mm,
over there, especially from the smoking perspective, because as you know, it's super stringent in Victoria.
mm. Yeah,
But
which is why I
yeah,
love going back to Victoria because you can't smoke anywhere these days.
yeah, exactly right. What's it like in Brisbane?
You can't smoke in restaurants, obviously, and that's nationwide, I believe. But even on the footpath, you can't eat. You can't smoke if you're in a restaurant setting environment on the
Yeah,
footpath.
yeah,
So that's like Victoria. I don't know about New South Wales.
yeah. I'm not sure. And it sort of comes back to what you were saying before about they're the only ones with the blue pools, and I think maybe
Mm,
because they're so bloody dangerous that no other
mm,
no other states are have enough courage to take on any sort of health and safety. But
mm.
at the same time, it's it's the onus is on the person that has a crack on whatever it is they're
Of
doing.
course, yeah, yeah.
So
Always should be.
individual responsibility from that
Mm,
perspective. So
yeah.
this pool here, it all looks sort of all a bit calm there.
Mm,
But what I can tell you is that one of the times we're in there for a little bit. That's Ness on the side there, my other half, and my daughter was in there somewhere, and I'm not sure if that's her. But the thing is that what happens is all this water from the ocean
mm.
just totally comes in and smashes against these rocks.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Wow.
it's absolutely phenomenal. So because I was in there too, and it was awesome, but it was really really scary. One time, the water
Mm,
came over, smashed against the rocks. Where she's sitting there, the water went right up the stairs, and then halfway up these stairs up to this
mm.
rock, and she almost
Right.
got wet
Wow.
sitting there. But what it meant was the amount of suck back by the water, because there's stairs there. You can
Hmm.
just see like a rail there.
Yeah.
Behind that rock, I was hanging on for grim
Grim
life.
life.
If I had
Yeah.
let go of that ladder, I could have been in trouble because there's the bottom of this
Mm,
is the sea. And in this particular case, it's a little bit rocky and it's got shells and
hmm.
sand and it's not smooth, which I actually thought it would be. I just had this thought that would be, cement there,
Mm. Yeah,
but
that's what I would assume.
it's not. So, and then that's sort of something I wanted to do for a long time. So I sort of struck it
Mm.
off the bucket list.
Yeah, that's good.
It was
Sounds
pretty
like
cool.
fun, but dangerous at the same time. But yeah.
Yes, yes. And as you know, some of the most fun is dangerous.
Mm.
So, whether you're, if you're water skiing or if you're, doing any sort of adrenaline sports of any kind, that a lot of time are fun, they
Mm.
definitely have an element of danger to them. So, but yeah, so that was some of the stuff that we were doing. And that one, I remember this one. That was what they call the Marimbula Boardwalk. They
Oh,
built
yeah.
Yeah, they built a boardwalk. I think they built it in 1997. The whole
Right.
community got together, and
Yep.
I think it goes for about 3 kilometers or something.
Wow.
And we got up about 6:30 and
Mm.
went down there and walked as much as we could because we were driving so much, during the days. We had to get up early
Mm.
to do it. But it was, as you can see, just
Beautiful.
absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely superb. So
So it looks
yeah,
like you had some really nice weather too. It's
yeah, we
awesome.
did. We did. Every day was anywhere between 23 and 28, and that was it,
Perfect.
with an onshore breeze.
Yeah. Even
So
better. Nice
it
and
was
cool.
very, very good. But hey, a little birdie told me while I was road tripping, you were moving house.
I was. We've given up on our 3-bedroom apartment and have moved into a 2-story, 4 or 5 bedroom. You can call it 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom house with a massive rumpus and a sloping land in amongst trees and bushland, not far from where we were. Just goes to show that here, even in inner city Brisbane, you still get to see a lot of bushland and live amongst it. And yeah, get woken up a lot by kookaburras and cockatoos and magpies all singing at 5 a.m. So thanks, birds. And the other joy we've had to put up with, already day 3 last night, a small one, albeit a huntsman has entered the house. So now we're going to have to live with huntsmans coming into the house.
You were in an apartment before, so I gather you weren't getting too many of them.
I don't think I ever saw a huntsman in the apartment in the 12 months we were there. So just day 3 already, we've already got a huntsman. So it was only a small one. It's only probably a bit bigger than a 50-cent piece, but give it time. I'm sure we'll come across the sources.
The largies. The largies.
Yeah.
Well, I've got just a couple of quick stories about huntsmen. It's not gruesome ones, because I know that you're not a massive spider person. But my daughter was just telling me that she did a bit of research, and she was saying that daddy longlegs. Now we've there's always been this sort of myth about daddy longlegs that they've got really poisonous venom. But their fangs aren't strong enough to do enough damage, etc. All that sort of stuff. Well, that's not entirely true, apparently.
Isn't it?
No. But the good news is that if they attacked us for any reason, well, they wouldn't do much damage. Like, it might hurt for like 10 seconds or something. Yeah, but it's not because of the fangs. It's because of the fact they're so tiny, they don't have enough venom to do any damage to us whatsoever.
Right. Okay.
But what they do have is they have enough venom to stun a huntsman.
Oh, wow.
And are fast enough and quick enough with their webs, etc., to encapsulate them in their web, and then eventually have them as din-dins over. Considering if you've got a big one, you think maybe the din-dins could be over a month. I don't know. But
judging by the size of daddy longlegs, their little bodies are a few millimeters, and then the huntsman's 100 times bigger.
Exactly right. But some daddy longlegs can be that big.
Yeah. I've never seen them that big, but
it's all legs. It's all legs.
Yeah.
But the good news, more good news.
Yeah, I love good news.
They kill redbacks as well.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I don't think I've ever heard of redbacks up here in Brisbane. It's not what we ever talk about. So,
no. Do you get funnel webs up there?
Not that I know of.
Oh,
I thought that was a Sydney thing.
Yeah, it is. But I must admit, a couple of nights when I was in New South Wales, when I was sleeping, I was sort of like, am I in funnel web territory? But
that's pretty much Sydney and surrounds, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. But well, that's good. That's good. So you're obviously happy where you are now. So that's a good thing.
Yes, definitely. Got better internet here and getting even better because I finally get some fiber into the premise. Can't wait for that.
Yes, well, that'd be fast. That'd be very fast. And yes, no, that will be very fast. I think that'd be probably 3-4 times faster than what I have here. But it seems okay at the moment. So I think because of that, we will move on with this. Or maybe this. With their wonderful segment, Beerducation, and as the hat says, you can see it. Jarvis Bay Beer Company. I've got quite a few things to say about Jervis Bay Beer Company. It's really quite interesting, and I have a in a
you've got
slide here. This bit here, which is hold on, where are we? Okay, that's fine. I can just hang out there. The interesting thing about this here is I love this bit, beers. And for the listener, B stands for beer. We're all about the damn fine beer. E stands for entertainment. Create a space to celebrate the good stuff in life and have fun doing it. Another E stands for environment. We love Jervis Bay and believe in caring for it every step of the way. And if you've ever been to Jervis Bay, you would know why. And R is responsibility. We're here for a good time, not a reckless one. S, social. Exactly. We are believers in community. So this is your space too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that place. Got to go there.
It is amazing. It only started in 2020. It started just as the pandemic hit.
Oh, wow.
And they went through all the fires as well.
Amazing.
So, yeah. It was a real labor of love. And the guy that we spoke to, and now they're about to come into Brisbane, and they're about to come into Melbourne as well. So I'm sure they'll be more than happy to have you as their Brisbane ambassador.
Happy to test them out and review them on a weekly basis if I have to. more than happy to sacrifice myself.
We got to speak with the creative director, and his job is to obviously market it with wonderful photos of Jervis Bay, which basically means that he goes around Jervis Bay, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and takes photos and goes all different parts of the bay to take photos. And
I'm just looking at photos on the internet. It just looks amazing.
Yeah, I just think his job must be so hard. Apparently, he's got a little house, I think, that's almost opposite Hames Beach, which is like one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. But the interesting thing about that is that it goes Hames Beach, Chinaman's Beach, or China's. Yeah, I think it's Chinaman's Beach. And then they probably should rename that. Anyway,
they should.
Greensfield Beach, I think it is. And they've got another small part to Hames Beach. And the interesting thing about that is that they say that the Hames part is so good, but honestly, that whole strip, I thought they were all amazing, and maybe because it's white sand, etc.
Yeah.
But,
little known fact. Oh no, you go.
No, go for it. I've been banging on. Go for it.
No, that's right. I was going to say little known fact about Jervis Bay is that, did you know that it's administered by the ACT? So it's not administered by its own local council. It abides by ACT laws and governance.
How on earth does that happen?
Yeah, it was it was set up in 1915 as by the Department of the Interior, which was then later renamed to the Department of Capital Territory. So it's always been a separate Commonwealth territory, and so it's a self-governing body, but abiding by the ACT rules. So I did come across that a few weeks ago. I don't know how, and just talking about it just reminded me that I did read that recently. So
that's an amazing. That's an amazing little tidbit, and I 100% did not know that. I wonder why. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
that is really interesting.
I'll set that as my homework for next week to find out why they did it.
I think that's a really good idea. Do you want me to put that?
No, I can do that while you do your review, because you're first on the list there.
Alrighty. Okay. So, as we just spoke about, That is the where am I? Yeah, come on, camera. There we go. Oh, come on. There it is.
Let's get rid of that first so we can see it clearly.
There we go.
Jervis Bay Cow and Calf Tropical Pale Ale.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. What I do like about it is I love the beer icon. I think it's really clever. The design, it's very sort of modern and efficient, but I quite like the beer. As you can see, it's on the hat there as well.
Yeah. Nice
I will
bucket
say,
hat, by the way.
sorry.
Nice bucket hat, by the way.
Yeah, it's all right, eh? I quite
Yeah.
like it. But here we go. Oh, hold on. I think we've lost.
Have we lost?
There we go. That's all we need. All righty. So I've got my special beer glass.
Is that a Jervis Bay Brewery?
A beer glass? No, it is not. It is a left blonde.
Ah, left. Nice.
So here we go. Lovely colour. If you want to take that off for a second, you'll be able to see the colour.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to take the sheet off for a second and you can see the colour?
Yes, there we go. You might need to put your... Oh, wow, look at that golden amber colour. That's... I wouldn't say dark, but it's on the darker side, considering it's a tropical pale ale.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And I'll do the little spiel on it in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've got to go through this sheet because I know we always taste it way before we're meant to.
So keen as mustard.
That's
Appearance
it.
out of 10. What would you give it?
Out of 10, I'd probably give it 8, I'd give it 8. I think it looks lovely.
Nice. And the smell?
Very, very good. What's it out of 10 as well?
10.
8.
Yeah.
8.
Very,
very good.
All right, the big one. Taste out of 30.
Oh, good. I'm up to the tasting.
Finally. Banged on enough about it. Just taste the damn thing.
Oh, it's good. Oh, she's good. 27.
20? Oof, that's almost a record, surely.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. Oh, aftertaste. Better go there. Yeah, not as good aftertaste. I'm going to give that 16.
16 out of 20? It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Drinkability. Would you go back for seconds and thirds? Maybe not fourths.
Well, this is a 5.5%, by the way. I haven't told you that.
No.
And it's got a pregnancy warning on it, so I need to be careful.
Yeah, careful. You don't want to get pregnant drinking it.
That's exactly 100% correct. 100%.
I'm supposed to save the jokes for at the end of the show, aren't I?
Oh, no, that was very good. You can have that. That was extremely good.
Drinkability out of 30.
Out of 30, it's very good. Yeah, probably 27. It's very good.
27 as well. So, Mr. Calculator Man.
Well, if I can look, I think it's about 77 or something, I think.
86, according to my calculator.
Yeah, that's probably true. I couldn't see the other bit.
Yeah, I think I was hiding 16.
You were just trying to make it hard for me.
Yeah, see if you could remember what you gave it for the aftertaste.
And
that's a very good beer.
It is a very good beer. I highly recommend this beer and this beer company. Very, very good.
Yeah. So what else did you taste that you said earlier from?
When we were there, there's another one. I think I can just pop this up for a second. But that's not the one I wanted. There is the Pilsner.
Pilsner? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll really get into Pilsners more.
It's just really clean, if you just want to have a couple of beers, and not think about it too much, sort of thing. Yeah. As we are at the moment, it's really nice. As you can see, they've got growlers.
Yeah.
And there's another one too. There's growlers and squealers, I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, I always
So
forget the terms.
I think that's a squealer, and I think that's the growler.
Growler's the bigger one. Squealer's
I
the
believe.
smaller one.
Yeah, I believe that is the case. So,
Yeah.
but the one of the biggest things about them is that the actual brewery itself, it has a little caravan on it called I think it's called Three Little Pigs, and
Cute.
and yeah, and it does good food, really good food. And I had a prawn baguette, but I actually ended having a prawn burger because they ran out of baguettes. But it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So yeah, so you have your beer, and they're obviously in cahoots with that company. So there's all this sort of symbiotic relationship stuff sort of happening.
Yeah.
And they're that sort of brewery, you know. They've got parties and they organize sort of community events, and you know, during the fires they tried to support people as much as they could.
Nice.
You know, they come out and you know, they hold sort of different events with their beers, etc. Because they don't just do beer; they do kombucha as well.
Okay.
So yeah, they're a really altruistic sort of company.
Yeah. Is it a hippie area, Jervis Bay, like Byron and all that?
Yeah, I think what they sort of say is they say Jervis Bay, bits of Jervis Bay are like what Byron used to be years ago.
Okay, before it got trashed by the rich people.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I was talking to a so-called Jervis Bay local, and he was saying that he actually came from Byron Bay. And the reason that he left was because of that exact reason. So.
Yeah, I can understand that. Been there once after we arrived here in Queensland, because it's only 2 hours drive from here. Yeah, I found it too touristy, too overrun by the mega rich, and everything was expensive. So yeah, happy to give it a miss.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not a I mean, after he sort of told me that, etc. But yeah, no, it's just a beautiful place, really beautiful place. So, yeah, beautiful place, good beer. I don't have a lot more to say than that, apart from 86 and highly recommend it. Very good drinking. So,
and if you're in the area or not, go visit.
Oh, absolutely, definitely, 100%. Go visit for sure.
All right. Cool. Alrighty. Should I get stuck into mine? All right. Bit of condensation here because it is a warm night here in Brisbane, as always. I am reviewing a beer by the name of Hope, H-O-P-E brewery from the Hunter Valley.
Oh, right. Okay. It's blurring us. That's getting blurry for us.
Yeah. There we go. Simple logo.
Maybe to the left a little. There's like a.
The problem is my lighting is just.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep, that was perfect just there. So India Pale Ale. Yep.
India Pale Ale.
By the Hunter Valley.
Hope Brewery in the Hunter Valley.
Hope. All right. Hope. We need a lot of that, especially in the Hunter.
We do. Yeah, exactly. This one is an American style IPA, and according to their website, it should have citrus, pine, and tropical fruit flavors. It has 6% ABV alcohol, so a little bit heavier than yours. And I would dare say, also has the pregnancy warning, so be careful. You don't want to get pregnant. And it's got 50 IBU, so that is the bitterness scale. So it should be a little bit bitter. So I'm going to give it a crack. Do it offside so it doesn't spill over my keyboard.
Yes, we've done that before.
Oh yeah, done that before, and lucky I did because it did spill, but not over. Alrighty, so let's have a look at what color this is.
Oh yes, we can see. Yep. And that's all right. So that's an IPA as well.
Yeah, but yours is a tropical pale ale, whereas this is an American style India pale ale.
Yeah, way more head. That
Yeah,
is
a lot
really
more
beautiful.
head and a very pale, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's in focus. Is that in focus?
no, not at all. But I can see it. Oh,
There we
just
go.
there it is. There it's
Yeah.
focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's massive
Yeah.
head. That's
Yeah.
huge.
All right. Might have to
To the
wait for this one
listener,
to.
to the listener, basically, Wency has poured himself an ice cream, and at the moment he's looking at a glass, half head and half beer.
Yeah,
If you
so I'm waiting for
understand what
that to
I'm
die
saying.
down to be able to taste it. Jeez.
Yes, absolutely. Otherwise, you're going to get a nice big beer moustache.
But why not? Let's do it.
Yeah,
Appearance, it's a
you
bit
should.
hazy, almost hazy IPA style.
Ah, yes. Okay. From here, it's
Yeah,
hazy.
so yes, well, it doesn't not help by the fact that it's not focused. Jeez. Come on, camera. Do I need to put it back near my face? Is that better?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, so out of 10, I would give that a, I don't know, 7. I think sort
For
of what I expect.
appearance?
For
No.
appearance.
No.
All right. Smell. Do I smell those flavors? Yeah, I can smell some citrus, orange almost. I can't smell the, what did they say? Pine? No, or tropical fruit. Yeah, it's tropical. I can't pinpoint it. All right, so smell, give it a 7. Maybe I'm just having an off day with smell, being able to smell things. All right.
He's got COVID.
Okay, so taste. Okay, it's pretty light. It's not very bitter, and it doesn't hit your senses too hard. Okay, so it's not too bad. Out of 30 taste, I would give it 25.
Oh, okay.
Aftertaste. Now I can taste a bit of the bitterness lingering in the back. So if you're not a big fan of bitterness,
It could just be phlegm.
It could be. It could be. Doesn't taste salty though. Aftertaste. I'm not opposed to bitterness. So
No, you're a very nice bloke. I mean,
yeah, I've got to balance out the niceness with bitterness. So
well, fair enough.
Catch me on an odd day, and yeah, I'm quite bitter. Not today. Aftertaste 17. Drinkability. Because it's easy to drink, and I can imagine on a hot summer's day having that colder than what it is now would be quite easy to drink. I'll probably give it a 26 out of 30.
Oh, that's an 82.
82. That's not a bad beer.
No, not a bad one. Not a bad one.
Yeah.
So there you go, people. 2 extremely very good beers. We highly recommend that you go out and check. And just before you do, I just wanted to say a couple of things that I had not said regarding the beer that I was drinking. Besides being a paradise for beach and the bush lovers, Jervis Bay is a hangout for the gentle giants of the sea. Migrating humpback mothers and babies drop into the sheltered waters for a rest on their long journey south.
Oh, so they go into the bay. Wow.
They do. These majestic visitors inspired our cow and calf tropical pale ale. So it's all about the whales, nothing to do with cows.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't know that.
Fascinating.
It is. A brew loaded with tropical kiwi hops and that deliver peach, lychee, and hints of citrus. It's the perfect accompaniment to whale watching in the sunshine.
I can imagine.
It is. It's a really, really lovely beer.
Now that you've read that out, can you taste any of the kiwi fruit or peach?
It's a bit feathery. I think I can taste kiwi.
Okay. Dear, that deserves a one of these. I hope you
a symbol. Or do you mean one of these?
Yes,
Do
one
you
of
mean one
those.
of them?
Yes, one of those two.
Okay.
Babuntish.
Excellent. Yeah, no, that, yeah. So, yes, so two really good beers there, good stories. As I say, Jervis Bay will hit Brisbane and it will hit Melbourne. But, when you sort of have a personal connection with people from breweries and you actually sit down with people that have had something to do with sort of the ownership and the actual creation, it sort of just gives you a different perspective a little.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
You
you
appreciate
sort
it
of,
more.
you do indeed. And you're sort of more than happy to sort of push that barrow, as it were. So I highly recommend both of those. We'll make sure, as we always say, that those links are in the show notes if you want to go out and buy them. So
Yeah, sounds good.
all good. Now, next we're off to, I believe, across the Dutch.
We are.
But before we
indeed.
do,
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au. Fish, opportunity to smoke marijuana. Janitor, speed bump, ute. Like, stop stealing my chips, you scared.
Yo, Wolf. Wincy and the Gigster from across the Dutch on New Zealand. You'd be landing.
Where's the chili bin?
and the Iski. No, they don't say Iski.
No,
they say
it's a chili bin.
Chili bun. But yeah, sometimes on this segment, across the Dutch, we can take the piss out of the New Zealanders at times. But this is definitely not one of those times.
No.
They've been going through hell and back at the moment. And I was talking to a few people when I was on holidays, and they were saying that not only had they just received the cyclone, apparently they'd had massive flooding before that, and not that long before it. And also I think Auckland had a small earthquake as well, or at least so what was it, 4 or 5 or something?
Yeah, I think it was about the 5. I'll look into it while we're chatting, but it was something significant.
It's pretty terrible. I've got some links here. I'm just because I do want to find them. There's some charity links here if you want to donate to the Cyclone Fund in New Zealand. I mean, unfortunately, with climate change, everything is getting a bit of a smashing at the moment. And as you know, Turkey had, I think, was it 7 point something, or was it 8 point something a few weeks ago?
I think it was 7.4 on the 2 weeks ago, and then I copped another one 2 days ago.
6.5.
Yeah, another big one for Australian standards. That's massive. That's disastrous.
Oh, I think for anyone's standards, it's totally 100%.
Especially when you've just gone through a couple of big ones in 2 weeks. So it's just been terrible for that region. Yeah,
it is. It's not good. And I don't know about you, but I do have family over there, and I do have family in the area. And I have been in touch, and everyone seems to be okay. But they had massive flooding in their area, and I know that you would be aware of this sort of stuff because you had to move house because you were flooded out of your last
one. A year ago. Yep.
Yeah, the massive floods that Brisbane had. So it's it's just horrible that this stuff just doesn't stop at the moment.
It doesn't stop, and it's just one crisis to another every year. It's like we're hearing it year after year. If it's not bushfires, it's flooding or cyclones or earthquakes in the case of New Zealand, and so
Turkey.
you've got family on the North Island, so they're the ones affected by the rain.
Yeah, definitely, and they've been very much affected, but they've just been very lucky that it hasn't got to their house as such. But
So they're on higher ground. Is that pretty much why?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. But I know that some of their friends have been affected particularly badly. So yeah, so it's definitely not been a great time over there in New Zealand. And what with Jacinda Ardern quitting and now having this, they've had some pretty major sort of shock to the system over there.
It's almost like every time, at least the last two prime ministers, as soon as they've come in, they've just gone from one crisis to another, to another, to another. So Chris Hipkins had the rain, where he was criticised. I think he was criticised for the flooding, and then the cyclone hit, and then there was more damage, and now the earthquake. So now he's had to deal with 3 different events in 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's just not ending, unfortunately. There's billions of dollars worth of cleanup, etc., and then you've got this sort of a little bit of a numbnut in New Zealand, the national MP Maureen Pugh, saying things like she made comments Tuesday morning about awaiting evidence that humans have contributed to climate change.
Right.
And as I say, she's in the National Party, and you've got to go, okay, so you've just had this enormous flooding, disaster, cyclone. I found out the other day too, cyclone and hurricane equals the same. They are the same.
Yeah, just different nations call them differently. It's the same as typhoon, isn't it?
I think you're right.
The same thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I didn't realize that. A tornado is different, but cyclone, hurricane, same thing.
Yeah, they just spin the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, nice work with that, Wency. As you can see, the link to the Red Cross New Zealand Disaster Fund is there. If we can, Wency might be able to actually put the link in the ticker down the bottom.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yeah, if you can get that happening, would be good. But just so you know what it is, it's www.redcross.org.nz/support-us /our current appeals /New Zealand Disaster Fund. But just Google Red Cross New Zealand and there'll be a New Zealand Disaster Fund that should pop up. We'll definitely have the link in our show notes. So if you, when you listen to the pod and you want to donate, which is highly appreciative if you do, because there's so many people, as you would know, Wency. Thank you for that, Wency. Great work. As always, that need the money now. So and the assistance and help, as we're talking about, it's going to be billions of dollar cleanup. So
for sure.
But,
it's a small country, so let's hope we can help our neighbours. And like you said at the beginning, normally there's great banter between the two countries, but in disasters like this, as they have done for us, we've got to help them as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
Dig deep. Let's help them out.
Yeah, 100%. Nicely said. Totally. Just to give you an idea of how bad the national MP's comment was, I accept the scientific consensus that human-induced climate change is real and there is a need to curb greenhouse gas emissions. We are seeing the impact of climate change in the cyclone that's devastated so much of New Zealand. She insisted that that was her true belief and not being forced to change her position. So she was immediately disowned by her own leadership when she said what she said before, and then she came back a few hours later, and believe it or not, she believes in climate change now. It's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle.
Amazing. There's hope that
absolutely
people can turn around.
Well, they can when the the leader of the party disowns them.
Mm.
But but yeah, so it's just been so much going on. It's so much road work happening in New Zealand at the moment. Just bridges are completely destroyed. There's a whole area of winery region. Try that. Winery region.
How many beers have you had?
I've had bugger all. I just can't speak. Anyway, winery region, Hawke's Bay has just been decimated.
Yeah.
And lots of good wine comes from there. So it's it's livelihoods, it's everything else. So as Wency so beautifully said, dig deep. Is there anything else you want to say, mate?
No, I think we've said everything. Let's help our beautiful neighbour, and just dig deep, like we've said. Help them out.
Nice.
They'll get through it. I know it takes time, but they'll get through it.
If anyone knows, you do, my friend.
Yes.
So with that, we might do a bit of this. Maybe. Let's have a look.
Oh, hang on. Start that again. Got to add you back in.
Blurt On Society.
Short and sweet. And over to you, my friend.
Okay. Right. I am going to talk about a relatively new phenomenon. Do you phub? Does your partner phub? Do your friends phub you? You're probably thinking right now, what the hell is he talking about?
No, I wasn't. I was thinking, what the phub is he talking about?
Yes. Boom, boom. Well, phub or phubbing was coined by an Australian marketing agency back in 2012. It's a combination of the words phone and snubbing.
Oh, right.
So, phubbing.
Okay.
So basically what it is have you ever noticed your partner, friend, family member, they might be present physically, but in reality, what are they doing? They're on their phone, doing whatever. They might be talking to you, but where's their focus? It's on their phone. So that's phubbing.
Got it.
Yeah. So because smartphones can do so much, our lives have been consumed by this technology. We've forgotten how to interact tete-a-tete live with people and talking and things like that. So all that social aspect that we used to have. Obviously, I think COVID has probably not helped. And I can see someone's phubbing already.
Sorry. What? Sorry. You were saying something?
Focus here. Look at me.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. You talk to me. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
For those listening, Sir Keighley was phubbing me live. Not happy.
Live
Jan.
on the new Blurt.
So the high use of mobile phones has led to an array of social and mental health issues such as FOMO, which we all know as fear of missing out. The next two terms I've never heard of until I started researching about this. Nomophobia. Nice. Nomophobia, which is the fear of being without a phone.
So what's that called? What's that called?
Nomophobia.
Nomophobia.
Yep. NOMO.
Oh, as in no mobile. No mobile.
As in no mobile, yeah. And the other term I've not heard of is plagonomy, the fear that your phone will run out of battery. So
I can't believe someone has a fear of that.
Well,
I mean,
you get. I used to suffer battery anxiety because previous phones, they wouldn't last me a day, and not that I use it a lot and do phubbing myself, but a phone wouldn't last me a full working day, for example, and by the time I get home I've got to put it on charge just to last me till nighttime or bedtime to be able to charge it overnight. So all these societal changes have occurred since the eruption of mobile phones. So the person
Oh,
that's
hold
being...
on. I think my daughter's just found out her battery's gone.
Yep, that's pretty much how I'd feel as well, especially when you're on holidays, because taking all your snaps. So
No,
the person
exactly
being phubbed can also start to feel disrespected or neglected, which can then lead to relationships facing challenges or being breaking down. So there was an online Turkiya, I think is how they want to be called now, the old Turkey, the country Turkiya. They did a university researcher from not sure what city in Turkey, did a small sample of 308 participants where they asked questions about on a scale of 1 to 6, 1 being the least satisfactory, 6 being the most. They asked their levels of satisfaction in areas such as satisfaction with life scale, so how content they were, their partner phubbing scale, so whether they considered their partner to do a lot of phubbing or not much phubbing, the relationship assessment scale, how they deemed their relationship was at that point in time, and their perceived relationship quality scale. So they asked those 4 questions on that scale, 308 participants. They basically found that that a majority of those people who rated a high partner doing the phubbing, they believe and felt that their relationship was very poor. So obviously one partner's constantly on their phone while the other one's neglected, feels left out. So, which makes sense, I guess. And I think from what I've read and what I understand from that outcome, it's quite limited, that research. So I think more research needs to be done, because you can't say that one caused the other, because perhaps the relationship was already doomed or is on the out, and that's why they turned to phubbing. So the question is, can phubbing cause relationship problems, or is relationship problems causing the phubbing, or is it all separate? So there's lots of other research that's been done, and they're sort of coming down to a similar conclusion that if there's high phubbing, there's issues with a relationship in a partnership. And obviously there's family members, there's friends that can also do the phubbing, so it still affects you socially. So it's not just about romantic or partnership type scenarios. So yeah, so I presented here you the problem. I can also present you with some solutions.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah,
Dr.
so
Wentz, carry on.
Dr. Wentz, here we go. Dr. Phil is in the house.
No, Dr. Wentz.
Dr. Wentz. So one suggestion that you could do on a regular basis during meal times, put your phone away or silence them and put them away. So that way there's no excuse to look at the phone, and have a real meaningful conversation with whoever you're sitting with at meal times, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Yeah, so put it out of sight outside of meal times, just put it out of sight. So maybe in an office when you're working, put it in a drawer, or in your handbag or your work bag, whatever, just put it away. Your alerts will still be there when you turn it on or look at it again. So that way you're not constantly looking or worried about what's on your phone. Give yourself a challenge. Every time you leave the phone aside at mealtime or during work, give yourself a reward or a prize for achieving that. And hopefully you can distance yourself from all that mobile phone use. What can you do for someone else who's phubbing you? Hopefully, if you're doing it, they will see your behavior and they can reflect on themselves what they're doing, and hopefully, excuse me, hopefully they can see that what they're doing is wrong. You can also call them out. So whenever they reach for their phone in appropriate times, just be nice about it and say, hey, maybe you can just put the phone down. Let's have a talk. Do stuff like that. So yeah, they're my suggestions.
I think for me, I find it really interesting what you're saying, because I find it in our family in particular, I find it weird that so many things that you said aren't just the norm.
mm,
In that we never have our phones at meal times ever, never have
Yep.
had.
Yep.
And we have certain things that, like, if we're watching a movie or whatever, we put the phones down.
mhm.
Unless someone maybe want to see a cast member or something, but apart from
Yeah.
that, it's not like you're just on it doing something different to what you're doing as a family. And Ness and I, ever since we met, way before phones were even a thing, said if we're with each other, phones go down. Nothing
that's
else
great.
matters. Yeah, nothing else matters. It's like,
That's great philosophy.
yeah, definitely. And but even when I go out, with the boys or whatever, I don't look at my phone unless, apart from certain times, just to see if the other half's rang, if they need something or something. But I don't worry about alerts or any of that sort of stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
if you're in company, if you're in physical company and you are interacting with a human being, it's incumbent on you to show respect for those people,
Exactly.
that you want to give them time,
Yep.
and it's incumbent on them
Mm,
to respect your time as well, because
exactly.
for all of us it's precious, and
Mm,
we should definitely yes, I wholly agree with so many of
yeah.
those solutions.
Even just having your phone on a table when you're out with friends, work, or your friends, and you leave the phone on the table, even that can be distracting for all, not just yourself. So even just put it in your pocket away so it's not visible.
Yeah.
And like you said, so that you don't get distracted and constantly check everything.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I'm glad about having my watch that syncs with the phone is that I can silence both, but if it's urgent, I can still feel it from my wrist that someone's trying to call.
Yeah.
Just quick glance, not important, very important, then I can do something about it. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, I think you're right. We just need to rely less on these devices. They're a great tool, but yeah, don't rely on it too much.
Well, at the end of the day, we're still humans. We need the human interactivity. And a classic example is my daughter's starting university. And one of the most fun parts that she's had so far is being at the university, meeting people, and, playing pool on orientation day. It's not being online doing the course, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
no, exactly.
It's all about interaction. I mean, as you know, university is all about interaction. It's all about being on the campus and being part of something and learning and sort of having fun. I mean, the whole online stuff we had to do through the pandemic, etc. It just wipes so many people out, mentally. So absolutely. So the less technical we can do and the more human interaction. Yeah, definitely. And talking about human interaction, as you well know, in case I don't want to speak out of turn, so I won't.
No, go for it. I think I know where you're going with this.
It's probably better you than me. I'll stuff it up. So, yeah, you go for it. Sorry.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. You go.
Oh, I was just going to say that Wency is, if people don't know, people who have listened to this show before will know, Wency's part of the LGBTIQ community. Would that be correct?
Well, I'm not part of the community. I am a supporter because I have a transgender child, Elijah, our oldest. And yes, so been on that journey for 2.5 years, going on 3. So I know exactly what it feels like, and I know where Keighley's about to go to, and I wish I could go there this year, but I can't, and my son would love to go there as well, but I'll let you carry on the next step.
Absolutely. As you know, Sydney hosts World Pride 2023. Melbourne obviously will have a big contingent down here. I would imagine Brisbane will be doing the same thing, surely.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't really heard much about what's happening with our move and everything. I've sort of been isolated from news and not looked at my phone much. So
Yeah, no, that
So,
makes sense.
yeah.
That makes sense. As Sydney hosts the World Pride Coalition, at LGBTIQ plus advocate groups is calling on Australia to commit 15 million in annual targeted funding for community groups in the neighbouring regions. So that's all about the Pacific regions and trying to support their LGBTQI communities as well. So people in Asia and Pacific face some of the world's harshest anti-LGBT IQ laws, as you would rightly know. I mean, Iran's got some horrible laws against women in particular. And obviously, if you're gay, it's going to be probably 3 times, 10 times, 5 times worse.
Yeah.
But we've got a historic opportunity to act on its ties with the Asia Pacific to advance the rights in the region. And the groups from Asia and Pacific, in partnership with the Global Philanthropy Project and Equality Australia, is urging the government to show leadership in its LGBTIQ plus communities in its foreign policy and development program. So the consensual same-sex relations remain illegal in about half of the countries. And yeah, I know, it's incredible. I mean, some of the Asian countries are just, they're archaic in their same-sex laws, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, I think just recently, Indonesia, I think it was Indonesia, because Bali's part of Indonesia, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. Yeah.
Right.
So
So
some people consider it part of Australia, but we know that's something else.
yes, well, yeah, absolutely. I think they probably would like to be honest.
Yeah.
Because so the Indonesians put a bonk ban on people that weren't married, and I believe same sex.
Yeah, I think it was
relationships as
implied
well.
that you had to be same sex. Implied that you had to be heterosexual.
I was going to say that definitely was not implied.
Yeah.
100% was not implied. But
Yes.
no, apparently I don't think you can even hold hands in public. Well, I mean, that's what Indonesia was saying anyway. But so they're, as I say, they're archaic in their laws, and I mean, even in certain parts of America, I mean, some of their laws are stupidly archaic as well. I mean, you know about Governor Ron DeSantis has this legislation in Florida. It's called the Don't Say Gay Bill.
Oh, what? What's that about?
Yeah, well, what we'll do is when we get Professor, gee whiz, Bill, oh God, God, this is terrible. We have got a fantastic guest coming on very soon, and so I'm not going to stuff his name up. He is a Kiwi, and more than that, he is a professor in US politics. And we're very, very lucky to get him. So he will be able to discuss those sort of things with us, what the Don't Say Gay Bill is all about and why it's so stupidly controversial. But we could be there for hours going on about that shit because that guy's a nut job. But anyway, according to the report, this includes 7 Pacific Island nations, including Papua New Guinea, Samoa, Tonga, and Tuvalu. So, and countries that criminalize LGBT people. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this list up because you might be surprised how many do. It's pretty bad.
Right, let me get that off the slide. There we go.
Yeah, so you can see that list.
So
have a look.
So this is the list of laws that anti-LGBTQI, pretty much.
Yeah, and LGBTQI relationships, etc., can actually be killed and tortured, etc.
That's terrible.
That's disgraceful.
That's most of Africa. That's a lot
shocking,
of Asia.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. And I haven't finished.
Now we're going to the Americas.
Look at the Caribbean. Check out the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'd never thought that would be a big thing in the Caribbean.
There you can see the Pacific.
Wow, that's terrible.
It is. It's absolutely terrible. It is shocking. And this is the thing, I mean, I can't, if you can change that back would be good, because I can't do it at the moment. My mouse won't allow me to. Beautiful. Thank you. So it's a terrible situation, and it's why we need to do something about it. So people with diverse sexual orientations, gender identities, and sex characteristics referred to the report often experience socioeconomic inequalities driven by social stigma and institutionalized discrimination, it says. And that's actually really clear and really well presented in some programs we were watching a little while ago with Miriam Margolyes when she was going around Australia.
Yep.
And she went up to, I can't remember if she went north or where it was, but there was an LGBTQI community of First Nations people.
Oh, okay.
And they suffer a lot in their communities as well.
Right.
For all the same sort of reasons. So it's that this article, it's an SBS.com article. We'll make sure the links are in the show notes.
Yeah.
But it's worth having a read of. It's something that, as I say, Australia's taking part of to improve the laws in these nations and to do everything they possibly can to get better processes for people in those situations in those nations.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good to have a big country like Australia hopefully show to the world, especially our immediate neighbours in the Pacific, that there's nothing wrong with it, that we're all human beings, that we can all live happily together regardless of your orientation in any way, whether it's religion, political, gender, etc. That we just need to make sure that the laws are just and human, not discriminate. So hopefully I think it'll take time to pass down to these other countries, but having that exposure is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last bit is, this is a launch for World Pride launches in Sydney. So enjoy this. If you're watching and following us live, again, the link is in the show notes for the listener of the pod.
A global gathering of glitter and glamour for Sydney World Pride, the first ever to be held in the Southern Hemisphere. A colourful calendar of more than 300 events held over 17 days.
A completely free event for everyone, where there'll be theatre, music, arts.
Among that list, the largest First Nations LGBTIQ+ program to take place in Australia, all coming together for a party with a purpose.
We have a 3-day human rights conference at the ICC. It's actually the world's biggest LGBTQI conference with 1,500 people.
500,000 people are expected to attend, including 80,000 from overseas.
It's been 4 years in the making, but organisers say this year's World Pride will be the biggest event Sydney has seen since the Olympic Games.
It's going to inject more than $110 million into our state's economy.
I feel so lucky that it's going to be here in Sydney during my lifetime.
Preparation for the return of a fan favourite.
The parade is back on Oxford Street after COVID, so we're super excited. And it's 3 times larger than any Mardi Gras has been.
Heading back to where it all started in 1978, where hundreds, now known as 78ers, had hoped to march with pride, but were met with pain.
Because it took a long time to get here, a lot of people fought hard at great personal cost. It's great that we can party now freely and openly.
Continue to strive for freedom.
Today also marking the opening of Sydney's first queer museum in Darlinghurst. Qtopia, a world-first space with a particular focus.
The museum that would highlight the medical, humanitarian, political and community response to HIV/AIDS.
Remembering another important chapter in Australia's rainbow history. Francesca Danuccio, SBS World News.
Well,
Nice.
yeah, it is, isn't it? It's pretty damn cool. It's got to be said.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite an experience to go there, especially if it's going to be 3 times bigger than the a regular Mardi Gras.
Yeah, I know. Indy really wants to go. My daughter, she really wants to go. I think she will. Well, she really wants to go to the Sydney one, but I think she will go to the Melbourne one. If depends on what day it is. I think we'll probably go with her as well.
Yeah.
It depends on how they sort it out, etc., etc. But yeah, that's what we would like to do, and
Yeah,
be
do
in
it.
support. So.
Elijah, Kim and I went to the Pride March, in Brisbane earlier, in mid 2022, and that was quite an experience. I must have walked 2 or 3 kilometres through West End in Brisbane all the way to Musgrave Park in South Bank, and where they had this massive fair of music and stalls and food, and it was just an awesome experience. So that's small in scale compared to the Mardi Gras, but had lots of fun. Lots of people on the side of the street clapping and cheering us on. So yeah, it's great. So yeah, if you can get to it, go for it. You'll have fun.
Absolutely, and more than that, though, you're supporting people that have been denigrated just for being who they are for the longest period of time. I mean, this stuff never ceases to amaze me that we vilify people just for being the human that they are. And it's so good that we've come so far, but it's just a shame of how much shit they've had to go through to get here. And I know it's not over yet. I get that, but yeah,
progress has been had.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. It's far better than it used to be. But
exactly.
But no, very good call, very good calls. Look, people, that is your show for tonight. We'll be back next week around about the same time, 8 p.m.ish, with another show for you. Who knows what we're going to talk about? Because I don't. I'm hoping Party in the USA with our guest that I did speak about, but I need to sort that out. But
yes.
But
let's see what the week throws at us nationally and world news. Who knows?
Yes, we will.
We have to be agile in on this show and be up to date with everything. So
we do indeed. And just talking about being up to date with everything, I just wanted to mention that we are now on a new platform that you may or may not know about. It's called Spoutable, which is SPOUTIBLE.com. I believe you can probably set yourself up an account if you want to now. It's basically Twitter without MAGA trolls. So if you want to be into interesting conversations, at the moment it's sort of very American-fied, so they talk a lot about how bad the Republicans are, etc. But there is other stuff happening as well. Yeah. But the new Blurt is on it. Yes. And we have more followers there than we do on Twitter, and Spoutable's only been open for
a few weeks.
3 weeks. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if they like our stuff more on Spoutable or what it is. I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. So anyway, so we're on there, and as you can tell, as Wentz has down the bottom there, blurtstar@gmail.com. The new blurt.substack.com. Anything else you want to say, Wency?
Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, the links and show notes will be below us. But other than that, I guess we'll see you next week.
Good night, all. I hope you enjoyed the show. Talk to you.
All right.
Bye.
I did. Bye.